What's up, everybody? Welcome to TPI, the Total Podcast Idiots Show. I'm idiot number two or one, still not sure, Andrew, and I'm here with idiot number three, Chris. Chris, how's it going on this tonight?
It's going pretty good, Andrew. I think, it's been a big day for all of us and big day in the hardwood universe. So I think we probably have some stuff to talk about as we get into the later into the episode. But
For sure.
for my day, I 0-2 day, which is always fun, to have one of those. So hopefully I get some good recruit news soon. We talk about the psychology of it, but we'll figure it out.
All right, we have some breaking news, everybody.
Breaking news.
Sorry. Breaking news, everybody. I'm getting word that the number one prospect in the nation, at least in the US, some would argue there's a player out in Australia who's looking pretty good and might have that claim soon. But I'm getting breaking news that number one prospect in the nation, Brian Hofmeister, is ready to announce his college commitment. So let's take it over to Hofmeister.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, out of Sunnyvale, California, the number one prospect of the 2020 class. He's a 6'8" center. He's been playing point guard a lot this year in his senior year. Let's look at the schools he's narrowed his list down to. He's allegedly or reportedly narrowed his list down to 6 teams: the Cal State Los Angeles Golden Eagles, the Dominican California Penguins, the Azusa Pacific Cougars, Humboldt State Jacks, the University of Houston Cougars, and the Cal State San Bernardino Coyotes. So these are his top 6, apparently, according to all those websites. And let's see, who he's going to pick. So it looks like he's going to eliminate Cal State San Bernardino.
Good choice.
Yeah, just maybe not high enough league level. Development there isn't right. The surrounding talent, just maybe not there.
Doesn't want to play with walk-ons, yeah.
Yeah. So they're eliminated off his list. Next up, let's see who he's gonna narrow it down to. It looks like Humboldt State is out of the picture. Similar situation, LL5. Maybe not enough talent right now. All right, so now it's a Final Four. He's making his way down to Houston, it looks like.
Gosh.
And he took a long look at Houston. He likes what they have a lot. They're not going to redshirt him. Lots of talent, LL3, but it looks like he's going to eliminate them. Now he's going to go to Azusa and, look at their national championship trophy.
Beautiful trophy.
Beautiful, that D1 trophy. He's going to talk to Malik Farr, the 5-star, Malik Farr is not the 5-star player, Owen Ferrari. He's going to get to know them, talk about where he fits with his system. But, after talking with Coach Denny Purvis, and he loves Coach Denny Purvis at Azusa, but he just didn't feel quite right. And so he's going to move on to Cal State LA, talk to Coach Malik Wood, Greg Gilliland, their star player right now, and Nola Kamita. He loved talking to Coach Malik Wood, but he just didn't feel like they put in enough work as much. And so it sounds like he's going to commit to the Dominican California Penguins. Look, he has the hat.
Oh my gosh. He got the jersey already. He's already the jersey.
Oh yeah, we photoshopped the jersey.
That better be Photoshop, or that's an NCAA violation. So
it is.
You're gonna get reported.
It is Photoshop, most definitely. Oh man, yep. So you can hear the crowd going wild in San Rafael right now on this huge news. Yeah, wow, it's a monumental day in San Rafael for Dominican, getting their first 5-star in program history.
Yep.
The number one player in the class, a huge talent. Yeah, just so excited, so excited.
Andrew, I want you to tell me how many times today you've checked the recruiting news page just to make sure it's real.
Probably 5 times in the first hour that it happened, but that not too much after that. I've definitely looked at his own page a lot more, just to read the scouting report and the stats and all that a lot. Oh my gosh,
points per game right now, averaging 20 points per game as a senior.
He is. Yeah. So Brian Hofmeister, everybody.
Congrats, Brian.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe we'll get him on for an interview sooner or later. You know,
I thought about trying to do something like that, but I was like, how do I? Because it's going to show my pictures. It's like, how can
yeah.
I talk? I'm
You
not
can
like a
use one of those voice
ventriloquist.
programs, like pre-recorded voice things. I don't know, something like that.
Oh, okay.
That'd
Yeah,
be
yeah,
a pretty
yeah.
good idea.
Yeah.
If somebody, I know we saw some, which I want to shout out, that phenomenal fan made video that we had on Miles Wooden.
Oh,
My God, that was
yeah.
Rupa Scoop, right? I'm trying to think of who. Yeah,
Yep, yep.
phenomenal content for the forums. So keep that up. If you want to make something with Brian Hofmeister, I'm sure Andrew would appreciate it. We cannot pay you though, so we'll pay you an exposure.
Right.
I'll say so.
Yeah. So like, because he and I talk a lot, and he showed me that video before it, and I was dying.
It's amazing. That
Yeah.
was so much more like effort than I would have thought would go into anything hardwood related, and it was even better than the Dominican National Championship video. So
I agree. I agree. It was very well done. Yeah. Mine are just little photoshops and PowerPoint. He actually put together like he edited a video. It was crazy. It was very good.
oh yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, the big news, Brian Hofmeister, but there was other big news, right? I mean, there were two other 5 stars who committed. They were both in the top 25. That would be Jacob Greer going to College of St. Scholastica. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong one. Here's top prospects.
yep. Spurning the hometown Wisconsin Badgers. I have no idea if they were recruiting him, but he's from Madison, so it's worth noting.
Oh, wow. He's from Madison and he went to St. Scholastica. Wow.
Yep.
Wait, St.
There's a lot of good
Scholastica.
programs in
Oh,
Wisconsin
Minnesota.
too, so I'm sure that was a battle.
Yeah. So Greer, a nice looking kind of like forward, probably small forward mostly, it looks like.
hmm
Yeah, good player. Maybe this SI growth in the junior year isn't super, but you take the talent. He's a good talent for sure.
Talent. Yep.
Yeah, and then another 5 star in California dropped and committed, and he went to UCLA. Jimmy Rutledge, a 14-pot 5 star. Yeah,
A lot of potential with that guy.
Mhm.
I know there were some really good programs on him. I know Dominguez Hills have been on him for quite a
Yeah.
while, but
Yeah.
the Legends program, I think it's probably hard to overcome that sometimes, but that's the top, all 3 of the top rated players in California have committed now. So it's kind of wild to see this early in the season.
Yeah, that is pretty wild because Jerome Benjamin also committed. Honestly, in some ways, this is a better scouting report than Hofmeister's even. Of course, there's 43 points SI difference in one pot, 1 point in pot. But still, like that's pretty interesting.
We'll see. It'll be interesting to see their careers side by side because I know I don't know if and I don't UCLA's, I don't know their situation. I don't know if Rutledge is a 4-year guy or a 5-year guy. I think if you really want to maximize that potential, he's a 5-year guy, but I think Hoff could be a 4-year guy and still potentially maximize that pot 15. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you're right. In terms of like 4 or 5-year guy, Rutledge, I would consider redshirting him still. UCLA being in Legends,
Yeah,
probably has enough like cachet, with recruiting power to like withstand that recruiting penalty. I'm not sure. Maybe they don't.
they do recruit some top guys though, so that's one that I know they're in a lot of high-profile battles. They might not want to incur that penalty.
True. Yeah. There's been, some people have asked me like what my plan is with Hofmeister. I'm fairly sure I'm going to start him next season. The question is where, and I haven't decided yet. I mean, everyone's seen the profile and in the height and everything. I mean, he could play anywhere, really, I think. And like you said, he's played center for most of his career in high school, but sorry, I think that didn't show. But now he's playing mostly point guard actually. But I have like a good point guard. I mean, he's no Brian Hofmeister, but like he's probably better point guard than anywhere else. So it's like, I think the one position Hofmeister will not play is point guard. But I could see him being a shooting guard even. small forward, certainly, power forward or center are still in the mix.
He can play all over. I think he's one of those unicorn prospects that you see and you're like, this guy can realistically could play all five. I know you don't want to play him at the point, but I mean, he really could play all the positions at a high level.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wish he could play all five. Like if I could just have five Brian Hofmeisters, then I'd be good.
We
One
don't
can
have
play
the
point
technology yet. One day.
guard. Yeah, yeah, for sure. But yeah, so oh man, what a battle. I mean, there was a lot of talk on Discord, especially about like how much contacts were going into him. So I mean, I'll show. I have it zoomed in so I don't give up everything else in my recruiting board. I legitimately spent 150 contacts on Brian Hofmeister.
More
If anyone,
contacts than SI. That's crazy.
yeah, more contacts than SI. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh man. If anyone thought I was like not telling the truth or anything with that, I mean, there it is, right there. That's proof. Um, so in the thing was, I told everybody like it took me 91 contacts to get to very high, and that's over like several seasons, a couple of promotions, a national championship, a couple of national tournament appearances, a conference title, um, and I didn't, I even didn't invest in him at all. I put 0 points in him in his sophomore year.
You were done with him.
Yeah, I was done with him. Yeah, like you said, I probably had gone off on him like 10 times throughout his career.
Oh, easily. There's been so many messages of like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my recruiting. I think like I don't think I put more points in the Hoff. And then I remember you winning the national title and you were just kind of like, let's do it. Like let's see if it'll work. And then even after that, you were like, I don't know, like maybe there's a lot of teams on high. Cal State LA's been on him for a long time. I know you were worried about them. Azusa Pacific, being so high profile, but uh, I mean, if 150 points doesn't get it done, I don't know what will. So
Yeah, seriously. I mean, and there was things just really worked out. I was really lucky to promote at the right times, have certain teams not promote, Cal State LA not promoting last season was really big.
yeah,
Azusa demoting last season was really big. Because I really think that Azusa was catching up really quickly, especially based on like how many contacts it said that took them to get to very high.
yeah.
Same with Houston, even like that can be, like I said, it took me 91 contacts. It took them, under 40 or something like that. Like that's crazy.
I was shocked when Houston said it. I think they said 35 or something like that, or it was. I mean, I was shocked whenever I saw that. That was wild. And I mean, I've told you before. I thought Azusa was the team to be worried about just for so long because I think Besoy's shown he knows how to land those high profile guys, and I mean he's had the success in the game, and you really wonder how much that prestige pulls sometimes. But I think, like you said, you really hit at the right times, whether it was promotion or obviously your national title is going to help. But congratulations! I know that's got to feel good.
Yeah, it does. It's a big culmination. We'll see how it works out though, I guess.
Yep.
But I think my 19 dev coach, we have a good plan for Brian to bring him in, get him to improve, develop to his full potential, get him to the pros, accomplish all of his dreams. Yeah, we're really excited.
I need you to play NAF in like 3 years, 3 or 4 years, so we can see the Hofmeister Toby Henry matchup. I think 3 years because I
Oh
don't think Toby's
gosh.
redshirting, so I need to see that just in a fun little exhibition game or something. So
Sure. I'm surprised. St. Mary's and Dominican are in the same region. I'm surprised they have never matched up in like exhibition,
mhm.
because that is supposed to be regional. Um, I mean, I think I have a rivalry spot opening up, but I don't know I think their rivalry spots are all full.
Yeah, playing NAF is not fun.
No, I
Seems
can bet.
very good. So
Well, yeah, I mean, they're in 2 point, NAF is in 2.1.
yeah,
If Dominican promotes and St. Mary's stays in there, then we'll play. We'll be in the same conference. So, or if they demote and Dominican stays in 3.1, and St. Mary's demotes into 3.1, then we might be in the same conference there. But yeah, okay. Let's take a look at. So I'm sorry. Well, there's other prospects other than Brian Hofmeister. He was the hottest, right? But
Daniel Ashworth.
but he's no longer the hottest because
Yep.
he's gone. Yeah, Daniel Ashworth is the guy now, right?
Yep. I mean, which is, I'm not surprised. I know. I think when he came up at the last flip, when he generated as a sophomore, I sent him to you before he had anybody on him, and I was like, I'm going on this dude. Like, I was so ready. I was ready. I was like, let's do it. I slept on it. Bam. Cal State. What was it? Cal State East Bay or whatever. It was like
East Bay,
on medium, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm fine. St. Mary's hops in and I was like, I'm glad not to be a part of this. But I mean, you can see, you go to his profile, his offer list is long. Like, that's one of those ones where, we might see some bots coming on there and hit up to like 15 or something, but it's a pretty impressive offer list with a lot of who's who of hardwood.
I mean, I was on a player that had like 25 teams on it.
It's true. It's true.
That was crazy. But yeah, this is, I mean, for the caliber prospect, Ashworth is, and I don't, East Bay is down here even. And, now we have Jacksonville State, who usually goes for these high level prospects. West Virginia Legends team, Morehead State has really been improving a lot. They're like LL3 now. Canada's got to defend their turf, kind of, so Simon Fraser, St. Mary's here, like you said, Iona, the Legends team, who's also on Ollie Man.
Yep, Miami, another what, LL3 or LL, something like that, I think.
Yeah, I think they might be LL3. Yeah. Fordham, another D1 team here.
Yep. It is a very competitive recruitment, and obviously I don't think he's the prospect that Hoff is, but with him being in New Brunswick and not in region for I think any school, because even Simon Fraser I don't think was region. That brings out everybody. I mean, he's a guy that is open to leaving because there's no schools in his area, so he's got to get somewhere.
Yeah. I'm interested because Bethune Cookman, I believe, is the team that does not have any scholarship players. Well, maybe they do, but their team TPI is 107. So no scholarship players. There you go.
Okay.
So
there's anything works.
There's that strategy.
Although, as we saw with Cal State San Bernardino today, it did not work out for them, and maybe it's a viable strategy. I know there's some schools that do it a lot, but he's clearly putting points into him. Although I wonder how far those points are going.
Yeah, I think it's becoming less and less viable of a strategy. There are certainly a lot of cases where it still works, especially because it can just simply scare off teams. Like, you see Cal State San Bernardino on high, it scares you still. Some of us still have trauma from that happening before. Me with Victor Simon, Houston maybe with Hunter McWilliams way back when. Even though the rules have kind of changed with regards to recruiting 5 stars as the LL6 or LL5 team, it's still kind of that deja vu trauma that's you can have.
100%. I think it's scary, and I mean, I've got the two most high profile guys that I'm on that are both underclassmen. They have that same thing where there's teams on there that that have more than 10 scholarships open, I think, each one, and it makes you just kind of like, well, maybe I shouldn't put points in this guy. Maybe I should move somewhere else. It's a little safer. But obviously, it worked out for you, which does give me a little bit of hope. But 150 contacts is a lot. But we can go ahead and talk about some of these other hot prospects, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about. I don't know if we've talked about Becker. I mean, he's another 15 pot 5-star. In New York. I think we talked about him a little bit. There's 3 Northeast teams who I think there's this is LL4. I think Stony Brook is LL3. I want to say
LL3,
and Misericordia is LL2 though. So 3 and 3 D1 teams, but 2 and 3 are really high up. 4, it's good, but I don't know how much they'll be in it.
Is Fordham, I think they're a new president as like within the last like month-ish or recently-ish, I think.
Yeah, kind of recent. Yeah.
So I mean, not they've been through a bit now, but you've seen them on some higher profile guys now, so maybe they filled up some classes before with some guys they like and want to top it off with a big time recruit. So we'll see how that works out, because Misericordia and Stony Brook it's a hell of competition. So
yeah, it's interesting though, because like you see position wise, Becker's mostly been a guard, but then you read this profile, you see the you see the skills, or you read the evaluation, you see the profile. He kind of seems like maybe a power forward.
Yeah, I think he would be great at a power forward if he maybe could get a little taller.
Mhm.
But his scouting report, like if I just covered up his attribute information, I think you would think he's a power forward for sure.
Yeah.
He's got, I mean, very good post player is a comment you always want to see. A guy who's gonna be a good defensive player. Like it really sticks out. So the only thing I think it's missing
Yeah.
is the rebounder, right?
Yeah. And I mean, there's some flaws that I see. But this SI dev rate is really good.
Yeah.
It's better than Hofmeister's. Although he started 20 points behind Hofmeister in freshman year. So that's part of it. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see more strength. I'd like to see heavier weight if he is a power forward. But maybe not. I don't know. This is a funky player.
Yeah, he's going to be one that's interesting to watch just from a strategy standpoint. I mean, there's some experienced players on him, so they'll know how to probably get the best out of him. But
Yeah, I mean,
guys
yeah,
in
it's
the post,
Columbia.
like, how are they going to play him? You definitely think through it.
Yeah. So that was one new one.
Lee Winters. I want to talk about Lee Winters.
Larry, yeah. Lee Winters, the point guard out of Utah here. What? So I mean, we see Utah State.
Yeah, he is the weirdest competition on here because I don't know if Utah State went. I wasn't very privy to his recruitment. I don't know if Utah State went late or if they went early or whatever they did. But I mean, there's some big teams on him that I think tested the waters, and we've seen. I think just as an example, IUPUI has landed some of these big time guys from Utah. I think they have. I want to say it's IUPUI, right? Is some team has recruited big time 5-stars from Utah recently?
Let's see. It's Boston. I don't know. I haven't looked at IUPUI recently.
Mo Ryan. Yeah. And so that was one where I was like, okay, maybe he got a little confident thinking he's going to get in there. Maybe it'll work. But Utah State, really good program. They seem to have him locked up. But I think he looks like a pretty interesting guard prospect. So that was one guy that, whenever I skim the pages and I see the hot prospects, I'm always like, I'm not surprised to see him up there.
Yeah, like you said, Tennessee, Cal State East Bay, good programs here. In region, Montana, I think they're in region, pretty sure. Got to be.
No, yeah, I think they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Cal Poly.
Yeah.
Cal Poly. If you look at Cal Poly's recruiting board, because we're very interested being California teams, and because Fullerton, one of Chris's teams, is in competition with them. Oops, not the roster. On them on a few prospects, right? On a few or just one?
Just one for now.
Just one.
So
okay.
Hopefully one.
You see their board is full of high target guys or popular prospects. And 3 of them are out of region as well, and 4 and 5 stars. So they're spending points elsewhere for sure. They're really spending their points not in California, which I think most of the veteran players of hardwood would say you're crazy.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it works out. I mean, they are on high on Fox here. That's as good as it gets. Pretty much.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it just means they have a chance. At least
they are a percentage in the algorithm, right? Like, so they are it is going to have some chance that they come out on top. I think that was a recruitment that we looked at where I think at the time that they offered him, LSU might have been the only school, or maybe it was Mississippi State was on a low, but typically it doesn't look like a lot of schools are going into Louisiana and taking those prospects. So that was an interesting one. And I think he actually went on Lee Winters after getting to medium on Owen Fox and then shooting back up to high. So, I mean, he's shooting for some big targets. Maybe it'll work out. But you see he's out of his 5 guys, he's on 2 from California, which you can build a team going out of region, but I just don't know if you can do it as much for those high profile players. It's really hard to do that. And we've seen that with teams like Vanderbilt, but they still dip in the South and they take some good guys from there. So we'll see how it works out. I don't know. I would like for him to stop recruiting Micah Manning. So please keep recruiting out of state guys, but we'll see.
Right. Yeah. Maybe it's a strategy of like get your stars first and then get the role players later. That's certainly one way to go about it, I guess. For me, at least how I did it, it was like I didn't get role players necessarily, but it was more like role players develop into stars, I guess.
Yeah.
Is how I thought about it. But it's nice to have a star right away for sure. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I think Owen Fox and Lee Winters could both be pretty early stars. But like you said, your style has always kind of been finding those gyms, I think, and they kind of pay. They're not as highly recruited sometimes, and it's a little easier to land them. So
yeah, so I look forward to all the competition that I'm gonna get, on my targets because they're all gems. Although,
which is funny because there's multiple times where you'll tell me and you'll be like, I don't even know if I should if I should still be on this guy or all this stuff. So I would not recruit, just as a suggestion, I would not recruit off of Andrew's board because he's very all over the place with his recruiting sometimes. So he's got plans, he's got hidden guys.
I do try to
hard to predict.
Yeah, I do try. Well, both of the prospects, Hofmeister and the other senior I'm on, neither one have improved at all on that side this season. So how good are they really? How good am I at this?
Wait until they can get with that 19 development coach and we'll start seeing that SI popping up.
So. True. Yeah. Well, that'll be the case for anyone then.
True.
The one guy here I wanted to look at is Ricky Coble because he's the only high school sophomore in the top bunch, like several. Right?
I didn't notice that. Yeah, that's great.
All the way down to 36 for the next sophomore.
Which makes sense because he's in Indiana where there's a lot of good programs and he's a 15 pot. So
yeah. But this guy in Wyoming, right?
Yep. So this might be similar to what we talked about with Winters, right? Where it's just there aren't a lot of big time schools in that area. So some other schools can move in and try to stake a claim.
Yeah, really good point. I mean, only Wyoming obviously is the whatchamacallit.
In region?
In state.
In state, that's true. Yeah. Are there any other schools in Wyoming that
I don't believe so. I think they're the only in-state school. They're the only Wyoming school, period.
Wyoming Cowboys. There you go.
But I don't think any of these teams are in a region either.
New Mexico, maybe? I don't think so.
I think they're in the Southwest.
New Mexico. I read it wrong. Are they in Southwest? Okay.
Yeah, I think
that makes sense. Yeah, that was a stupid question.
No, it's
Geography 101 with our podcaster.
No, that's a reasonable question. I have no idea where Dickinson is though. Pennsylvania, Elizabeth City State is
maybe Pennsylvania too, or North Carolina.
North Carolina, apparently. Obviously Notre Dame in Indiana. So yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It's a case of a lot of these teams sense that there's just not going to be a lot of teams with a huge advantage.
Yeah.
So they go after them. That said, Wyoming has as big of an advantage as it can be.
It's almost like the what was the recruit that went to Hawaii? Kane was, I can't remember. Yeah. But it's almost like that where and granted Hawaii does have more programs, but you have such a built-in advantage that if they don't have that, has no preference to stay close to home. I mean, I would do exactly what Wyoming's doing, and I would dump a lot of points into this dude because he's the type of guy that could potentially turn your program around.
Yeah, I mean, we see here, just like Hofmeister, he's the number one player in his class. Yep. A much different player though, point guard, a really good one though, it looks like. Yeah, I'm just reading the profile right now. That growth is really good. The size is maybe a little short, but for point guard, I'm usually okay with it.
Yeah, I think I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, he looks like a really good player. Yeah, if I'm Wyoming, this might be a guy, who can propel a program up or turn them around, whatever, it may be. Yeah, it looks like a good player for sure.
Yeah, I don't mean to insult Wyoming. They could be in LL3 and I would have no idea. So I'm not trying to say that your program needs to be turned around, but great player. So he'll be one to watch because I think we'll probably see some more big time schools get on that at some point.
Yeah, and so now we look at Ollie Mann, but also Rudy Zepeda. We talked about him a couple weeks ago, I think, and no one was on him at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's got equal recruiting buzz to Ollie Mann.
Heck yeah.
At least in terms of the blocks, although it's a bit less in terms of the actual number. Let's start with Ollie Mann. Of course, a 17 pot out of Australia.
We have a new challenger.
Yeah. Yeah, new challenger to Iona, right? Iona was maybe the only team. They were certainly the only team past medium when we last looked at them, right?
Mhm.
That Legends team. But now there's North Dakota, an LL4 team. Um, so I mean, they have some of the recruiting power, I guess.
Yeah.
That these other teams don't, because I think Minnow State and Montclair State are both bots in LL 5 or 6. Can't remember which one. Platteville and St. Thomas are human run, and I think St. Thomas is LL4. I can just click.
That sounds right. I think they demoted. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
No,
think
they
they
didn't demote. I'm sorry.
survived.
They
No,
survived. They're gonna demote this year because they're redshirting everybody.
probably, yeah. Platteville, I think, is LL. I want to say 5, but maybe 6. Oh, 5. Okay. Yeah. And then Ferris State. Where's Ferris State actually? LL5. Okay. So most of these teams, barring St. Thomas, like it'll be tough to move off of low for them.
Right. It's going to take a monumental amount of points. I would say if you're not St. Thomas, and you're on low, I probably just would not bother putting points in him just from like a outsider's perspective. But I mean, he's got the potential to be the best player that we've seen in Hardwood just from his actual potential level. So maybe you do that. I don't know. It's, they're your points. So
Well, you're talking to 3 bots though, so
that's true. I'm talking to nobody. That's a good point.
I guess
But I would say
Ferris State can
what's
listen.
interesting about North Dakota is I know that they've got their new president a couple weeks in. They have 10 open scholarships. So they might not be in Legends, but this is kind of what we just talked about, where they are still a Division I program. That playing time's got to be pretty appealing to man because he can come in and probably play right away. He's also got his buddy Roy Owens,
yeah.
Another fellow Aussie. But that's something that can really, I feel like, sway recruitment. And like you said, they've kind of stopped that with the Division II or III guys, but with the Division I schools, you don't get that same hit. But what I would also note is that while he is North Dakota's only recruiting target, Iona got up there real quick at the flip, and they've definitely got some points to spend on him. I think they're pretty committed. So if I remember, he posted in the forums kind of what we were talking about with posturing and things like that with recruiting. He was kind of like, yeah, I'm going all in on this dude. So go ahead, and I think it scared off a lot of teams.
Yeah, for sure. It certainly scared me off.
Okay.
Not that I had points to spend, but well, interestingly, I remember looking at Ashworth. I think Iona showed up, and they're kind of new on Ashworth.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
remember seeing them before. So it's kind of interesting, like you said, it's maybe a little bit of posturing about saying something, but maybe doing a little bit different thing. Not to say it's still worth it to challenge them because they're still legends. You have a really good recruiting coaching staff here, so it's still tough team to mess with. For sure.
He'll be the one that the next big domino we wait to fall. I know we were all waiting for Hoff with that early commitment comment. This feels a lot like Toby Henry. Hopefully it doesn't last as long because I know the people in his recruitment were really sweating it out. And like we kind of talked about in the Discord earlier, hopefully Ollie Mann commits sooner than later so you guys can throw those points at another good prospect as opposed to waiting until, recruiting period 40 and having to go for somebody you might not take.
Yeah, and it was interesting. You were talking about North Dakota. I think you're right. Like that is a really dangerous situation to face, to be the opponent of in a recruiting battle, because they have still that Division I power, but also have the lack of scholarships power. So it's like that's almost the best of both worlds. Now they're gonna suck, next year.
Yeah, that's and even if Iona demotes, they're still going to be in LL2. So like it's going to be a pretty big difference. But you're right. I think that it is the best of both worlds. Although maybe he looks at that roster and he goes, "We're really not going anywhere potentially for the next year or two. So maybe we don't go to."
I mean, I kind of wish that prospects took that into account more than what they seem to. I mean, North Dakota seems to have the best of both worlds in terms of this recruiting battle specifically, but obviously not the best of both worlds in the current year performance, next year, or the year after, probably. Their trajectory, So I don't know which one you'd rather take. For me, I'd still rather be the Iona in
Oh,
this situation. Yeah.
and I mean, I took over when I took over Cal State Fullerton. It was very similar to North Dakota. I think we had 8 open scholarships, 8 whenever I took over, and then that next year I think that went to 11 or something like that. And it was,
Mhm.
it was hard because we just had so many players going, and I was able to get some good recruits in there. But like you're saying, like it was the taking it over. You're like, okay, how do I stop a free fall? Because that's what's going to happen whenever you don't have enough guys playing positions. You have walk-ons and you're too deep. It's hard to win games in Division One at any level in Division One whenever that's happening.
Yeah. 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 But you also weren't trying to like snipe,
That's
someone
true.
and he wasn't your only target. Like,
But
yeah.
that's the different philosophies of recruiting in Harvard. Maybe he wants the big time guy. You see that, like we said, with a lot of those programs. We see it out west quite a bit where guys want to go after big time players, and maybe that's just
Yeah.
because it feels good to land that prospect compared to a 2-star or whatever. But that goes back into that recruiting philosophy we kind of talked about. That everybody's got a different one. So
That's fair. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I want to take a quick look at Zepeda just because he's gained a lot of hype
there you
lately.
go.
Yeah, South Florida, Mayaguez, Howard Payne, Utah.
Some good programs. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't know where Howard Payne is. Oh, LL4. Okay. Cool.
So everyone, Utah's still in D1, right? Or are they in L5 now? Oh, they're
LL3.
L3. Okay. Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody on this list is a D1 program. I
Mhm.
mean, that's some real competition, which is funny because he just didn't have anybody on him for like 4 or 5 days at least. I mean,
Yeah.
he was right up there at the top. I think he was above Man in the rankings of internationals, and he still is.
I think it still is. Yeah.
He's number 2 now, so he might have dropped lower, but at one
No,
point,
man was 3.
yeah. So it was the Lithuanian guy. I think he was number 1.
I think so. Yeah.
Somebody like that. Yeah, it might be Latvia. I can't remember, but
Because it's about the SI and the star ratings. It doesn't take into account pot. Yeah. That's insane. Only Man has a 4 pot more. 4 points
I
more.
still remember that whenever just how popping the Discord was when that happened, where everybody was like, there was like a 2-hour period where everybody's like, "Did you see the 17 pot guy? Did you see the 17 pot guy?" Is
Like
really fun.
you're ecstatic to land a 13 pot, and then you think, oh shoot, there's a guy who's 4 pot fire.
And I felt great about finding an 11 pot big at the flip. I can't imagine what would happen if I was able to actually start recruiting a 17 pot player.
I haven't even thought about dreaming. I haven't thought about dreaming to that level,
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, we thought the Hofmeister thing was a dream, and now people are out here recruiting 17 pots. So
I know, yeah, or 16 pots like Cam Boyer.
I can't wait to see a 18 pot generate and just crash the website.
Oh my god, jeez. Hey, I think I'll be ready for that one. Okay.
That's fair. Yeah, that's one. Although I'll tell you, there's a 15 pot freshman that's calling your name after winning this Hof battle.
Yeah. Well, I think he would look pretty good next to Hoff. That's true. But only for 1 year.
That's what I was gonna say. You only get the 1 year, but it would be a beautiful year, and also astonishingly, I don't think anybody's still offered him. So,
the thing with Hoff is like, I this. I scheduled out not Hoff specifically, but I scheduled out spending a lot in a 2-person class on a big man.
Yeah.
In this current senior class, but I planned that out. I knew I was going to do that like 4 seasons ago. Just based on like how I was tiering the prospects I was going to land.
Yeah.
And I actually shot a little higher than I wanted to. With my current redshirt freshman class, I landed 2 3-stars when I should have landed 2 stars, or at least a 2-star big man instead of a 3-star big man. Yeah. So, I mean, definitely things like went awry a lot. I redshirted Bruce Spann at the wrong time. Landing that 3-star instead of a 2-star, landing Ben Fong accidentally, kind of.
I think Ben Fong was absolutely an accident at that point, because I don't think you thought for a second he was going to commit.
No, yeah. With how many contacts I was taking and how, and with the troubled comment, yeah, I thought it was done. At least I didn't land that second big man too.
That's true. That would have been nightmare scenario. But no, you're right. I think, that, and you've kind of influenced me to do that as well, like really plan out those classes that far in advance. And I've talked to some other presidents, and like they've got really cool systems for, I want to bring in X amount of guys this year, and I want to bring in a really good big man next year. And I think that's kind of what I've started taking on as well, where it's like, I can really get a great guard in 2 years. So I'm going to go after this high profile guy, or, hope somebody pops at the flip. Although that's always feels like a loser's game whenever you're waiting for somebody to pop at the flip, because it feels like most of the time they don't. But
Right.
you never know.
Yeah.
So the flip is like the grass isn't always greener, where you're just like, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, it's gonna be somebody great, and then the flip comes and you're like, oh, Sylvester Jordan, this is who it is, So I'm sure some of the people out west don't know what I'm talking about, but that it happens. So
I mean, it's kind of, it's a double-edged sword, I guess. I don't know what the right thing is. I don't know what the right phrase is, but it's like sometimes it works out because you find your Odell Haynes, your
Yeah.
Philip Boone, and other times it doesn't because no one shows up, like you said, and it's hard to rely on that. It can be, helpful and a good strategy, but I think it's not always reliable. But I certainly fall into the trap. We were talking about this pre-recording, kind of like a sunk cost feeling, like you've invested in someone, and to just jump off of them for whatever reason. There's lots of, you had a different reason, but to just jump off of them, it's hard to do because you're like, I already put in these points. I don't want those to go to waste.
Yeah.
Even if it is for a good reason or a better prospect. So that's I think the balance and that you have to strike in the traps you can get into of being anchored to a player, but also the other trap of the grass isn't always greener on the other side of the flip,
Right. It's like and this is the worst analogy I could give, but it's like what is it, Kenny Rogers song, where it's like, you got to know when to fold them and when to hold them. Like it really is like I mean, it's almost like a game of poker, like especially when you're going up against other human presidents, like you have to know what your limit is in a way. And I think that a lot of times that can get pushed and tested. And like we said, I mean, we had like probably like a 15-minute conversation about that with a prospect I was recruiting, that it's like, is it worth still putting points into this guy when I can look at my overall situation and maybe look into the future a little more? So that kind of comes back to what we talked about, the idea of losing a prospect. It's almost the same thing, right? It's like saying, I don't know, saying you're going to break up with somebody and finally coming to terms that the relationship's terrible. And you're like, well, maybe I should go, maybe I can find something else, something better. Somebody who's not going to gain interest from another school randomly out of nowhere. So I don't know, but I don't know, that it is interesting to look at that, because that definitely, the sunk cost stuff is real in this game for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why, landing a prospect early like Hofmeister, or, I think Northern Illinois landed 2 guys yesterday, or 2 days ago. And that was really big.
Huge.
Because I think they're done with that class now. Like we talked about this last week, I guess is what it was. Obviously it's nice, like, landing your target and all and everything, but it's also like, again, you can shut off all the different possibilities of where that scholarship could go, and that's so relaxing.
It's so comforting. Really, it's like, and it just it's the best feeling in the world. I had that happen to me last year, I think, with or 2 years, what was it, 2 years ago, last year, I'm losing track, with Haynes, where he committed, I think, like on period like 7 or 8. It was very early.
It was super early. Yeah. We were shocked.
I couldn't have, I thought it was gonna be one of the other guys that offered, and it was just like, great, I don't have to worry about somebody coming in on this guy, especially gonna be a new flip. I can throw these points to the junior class, sophomore class, whatever. It just makes it feel like you have your stuff like really tidy and wrapped up. And in hardwood, I think that's a big part of the game, is making sure that you're planning out correctly, because you want to have a good roster. You want to make sure you have guys playing when they need to, and that you're not playing somebody who's not a great player.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, the train is going by and my window's
open. Oh wow, yeah, so that is a train. And sometimes it goes the other way, because 2 of the 3 bigs that I offered with Cal State Fullerton have committed already, and they were not the ones that I was in the race for any longer, which that happens. So that's all in the game.
Yeah, and for me, yeah, like I said, it's about the security, the comfort feeling, and then like you said, with with putting the points towards future classes, because I agree that's a big part of the game, planning out towards the future. Like I said before with my planning, like I was able to do it seasons in advance. And I mean, I started planning for Hofmeister's slot before Hofmeister was even generated. So it's not like I knew the number one player in the class it was going to be a big in California. Like I didn't know that, obviously.
Actual jackpot. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was just like I was going to go after the best big in California, essentially, in that class. But it just happened, like I said, really fortunately. But the more you spend out in the future, the more you can game plan, the more you can plan for that type of situation arising. I think it allows you like the flexibility to be to do that and to go, hard after higher caliber players as well. The thing I have to wrestle with is I know I'm gonna draw competition though, the higher level I go and the higher
Absolutely.
caliber prospect I go after. And probably, the more high profile I become in the game, in the community, because people are gonna be like, don't want that kid to get into cocky or too high on his britches,
Right. Although I will say, as you keep getting higher and higher, I mean, like we said with Iona, I think a lot of people were scared off when they saw them on there, and that's part of the game. It's you kind of play the like, did I dump all my contacts? Do I still have contacts left? You go on the sky. Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? And I think when you see a lot of those bigger schools, at least from my perspective, I'm like, I'm staying the hell away from that. I really want to go on guys that have smaller schools or have preferably no competition at all.
Yeah. Honestly, some part of me is like, was I debated into like spending so many contacts? I have no idea. I might have been.
Yeah, that's possible because you spent. I need to know, did Cal State LA say how much they'd spent? Because I thought they'd mentioned it was close to triple digits just the other day.
Earlier today they said 120.
120. So I mean, if you ask yourself, and I know you do love a contact, so maybe if I asked you if you could have 30 contacts back, like, and not know you're going to get hot, like you might say maybe I put them on some other guys, but spending more than just 30 to get a 15 pot big man, potentially big man, I mean that's a pretty good deal. So
I agree. Yeah, I was like, and at the point like things were said, at the point where people were starting to talk about how many contacts were in Hofmeister and all that, like I was already so far in, I wasn't gonna give up. I think the time to scare me off would have been good question.
Or his junior year, like the flip.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't. Yeah, it was before his junior year.
Yeah,
I think the thing was for me to not win the national championship.
That's true, because that I still remember the day that we talked on Discord the day you won it, and you were just like, I think I can get Hoff now. Like it was, and I get it. You're riding that high, and if it had to feel good, and I can do whatever I want, and it worked out.
Well, because he rose from like low plus, I think, to like a medium plus.
Yeah, it was a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it was a flip. It was a promotion from D2 to D1.
Tournament.
Yeah. Conference title, national championship. I mean, it was like literally the biggest boost one could have.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm not sure if low plus to medium plus was exactly it, but it was like, it was huge. Yeah, so that's how I felt I could get back in the fight after not spending on him for an entire season.
Yeah, you got helped out a little bit by that. I mean, that's why the flip is so important, because you see that with a lot of prospects, whether you're maintaining interest or, gaining some, losing some, the flip is super important for your recruiting strategy that year and kind of throw you some curveballs. So,
yeah. Okay. So if anyone wants to see my recruiting board now, no, I'm just kidding.
Spoiler alert, it's pretty empty. Like I feel like it's probably pretty empty right now.
It actually is. There's not many names on it. I am on like a few underclassmen. I'm on one underclassman visibly. I'm watching some other underclassmen, but I guess it's time to start scouting again.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for you to start sending over prospects and we can break them down. Especially because
Yeah.
I've probably looked at a good amount of the guys on the West Coast. But tell you what, we get like 150 likes in this video. We'll just share our recruiting board. Are we gonna start like baiting now? I think that'd be kind of fun.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Maybe we do. I don't know.
All right, man. You smash like on this video, I'll throw all my contacts on a 1 star, like something like that. You know, that'd be pretty fun.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
want to do that, so
I
let's
don't
not.
want to do
You know,
that.
that's what we need to get Rob back on here for.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's hilarious. That'd be so funny. Oh man. Maybe we'll see. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'll throw I think I have like 16 contacts saved up. I'll throw all 16 on Ollie Man to get to nothing. Like that's it all. Something like that, like just horrible.
Yeah, right. That's such a good idea, but I would
Also a
hate
bad
it.
idea.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, for our brand, it's good. For our hardwood games, it's terrible.
Absolutely. That's why you have to have multiple teams so you can just do stupid stuff, I guess, sometimes.
Yeah,
Although
yeah,
sometimes the stuff can get fun. Like I know like the 7-footer lineup or whatever actually seemed pretty cool.
yeah, right. Yeah, it worked out for a while, and then it gets a little stale, I guess. Maybe I don't know. All right. Is there any other prospects you want to look at, or anything you want to talk about?
I could
Still.
talk about guys that I'm recruiting all day, but I don't want to for other purposes. So I think I'm good, man. I know it was a really Hofmeister centric show, but that's just because it's a big deal. You know, not only did the number one recruit commit, he committed to starting the podcast. So congratulations, Andrew.
Thanks.
Hopefully next year we can have a 5-star commit to me. So that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, you're on some. I just want to say, like, it was a great battle with Cal State LA and Azusa Pacific and Houston. Mainly those teams. The other teams I was a little more confused about. I'll
We
say
saw the
that.
video.
But I really do think I was just lucky. I don't think that I was like did anything crazy innovative or anything. I think I learned some lessons with regards to points, spending points, redshirting, roster management. So, I hope to take that into the future for sure. But yeah, no, I mean, sorry to the other teams. I don't know what to say. Like, I can't say thank you.
I don't know if you can say sorry after that like 10-minute press conference video. Just kind of like dunking on everybody.
I tried not to.
I can't wait. I can't wait because I know like there's going to be so much like everybody's going to be like, yeah, congratulations. And I know deep down somebody's going to be like, I'm going to snipe whatever dude he's on next year. And it's going to be great. So,
oh man, that would suck. I mean, yeah, I don't want to sound too arrogant. I'm very happy. I mean, I don't want to sound arrogant at all. Sorry. I'm happy. I feel very fortunate and lucky. But yeah, I mean, it's a huge day. It's a huge day in my program's history. So happy about that. Oh. Yeah, so I think that covers it for today's episode. Yeah, very Hofmeister central or a centric episode. I guess the tip or trick is to land the number one recruit in the nation.
what a flex.
I mean, hopefully I provided some insight on like that, how it happened, the process and all that. But yeah, anything else from you, Chris?
No, I think we'll probably get into some team stuff like performance stuff here in a week or two, just because it is so early in the season. Maybe once non-con ends or something like that. That's usually the sweet spot to kind of do a little bit of previews. But
yeah,
no, outside of that, man, hopefully everybody has good luck with recruits and we get 150 likes so I can spend all my points. So we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, good luck with recruits for everybody. Yeah, all right. TPI signing off. Till next time.
Bye, y'all.